All right, second video. Hopefully it doesn't sound weird, but understanding the inner child. There's the Kanye song, huge song, Power. It's Charlie and Candace's song, and I've been listening to it a lot. And the two things that really speak to me in that song, it's Frozen. I don't know why it just froze like that, but the two things that spoke with me in that song is, one, he says, he has a lyric regarding fighting for your inner child. I just needed time with my own thoughts and go into my own vault, my mind, right? And it's like we're all fighting for our inner child. System UI isn't responding, of course. Here we go again. Here we blow. Here we blow. Oh, well, I'm going to go with it and see how this operates. I have this, I don't know, it's this second time I've ever seen this. So anyways, on my burner phone. So this is the stuff I have to deal with. I can't tell you how much it takes me to upload these videos, guys. On all my platforms. All of them. And that said, and then there's another portion of it at the end of it. He's like, do you have the ability to let power go? Meaning your own ego, flesh, and pride, essentially, is what I took from it, right? And so it's like, for me, I don't move and operate in power. I just see what it does to people just in general, and I see what it's doing to our country and to just all nations. But fighting for your inner child, we all have an inner child that resides inside of us, okay? And your inner child is an emotional part of you that holds early experiences, all right? Both nurturing and painful, right? I know, as well as I say this, I can think of just hundreds of people that I have met, and I could just go down the laundry list of different wounds of their inner child, particularly my ex, man. When we face love depriving, emotional neglect, and validation as children, the inner self often becomes frozen in inner survival mode. And that's the thing for me as a child. I came from a somewhat loving family, but it was a very unique dynamic. It just was. And I didn't have much of a voice. And there's just a lot of different things in reference to my child. I mean, even in reference to a video that I put out this morning in reference to what I went through as a young girl and how that was handled in reference to my marriage. I mean, there's just been so many times where it's like I tried to speak and share my feelings, and it's just like, it's never validated. It's always like, and so it was like that when I was a child. And so I grew into always having to be in survival mode. And I just learned to, like, it was flight or fight, recognizing that part of you still exists within you. That part of you, your inner child, and these childhood wounds stay with you your entire life until you go in and you go into your inner child and you really work through them and heal those things in reference to reparenting yourself and providing safety and a voice and love that you never received when you were younger. Whatever that looks like for you, you have to find that within yourself, and you have to heal those wounds. It is very hard. I get it. I know. Allowing an adult self to bring comfort and reality and compassion. Like, I now provide myself compassion regarding everything in reference to my childhood and things like that. And like, you know what, Amanda? You're entitled to feel the way that you feel. You're entitled to hurt the way that you hurt. You're entitled to speak and vocalize things, even if surrounded by people that just refuse to validate it. It doesn't change the fact that they are your feelings, they are your thoughts, they are your experiences, and they hurt you. They hurt you. And even if we live in a world that's not going to provide you that healing, you have to learn to provide that for yourself. And God helped me with that. God provided that for me. And He helped me kind of nurture that side of me. And so once I started kind of working through all the different mechanisms of that, then I started working through my adult years in reference to realizing, okay, because I carried those wounds as a child, this is why I made the choices and the decisions that I made as a young adult, as a teenager, as an adult, as a mother, as a business employee, X, Y, Z, this and that. This is why I was a people pleaser. This is why I always looked for validation. This is why I became a doormat. You know, and it's one of those neat things. Love and emotional neglect wound. You may have learned that love was conditional based off performance, compliance, and invisibility. Neglect doesn't just mean abuse, it means absence of emotional attunement, you know? My family is very good at surface level, you know? Hi, bye, love ya, you know, and that be that, you know? And from the outside looking in, it's just, you know, that's normal. Even with my ex-husband, I witnessed that when we were together. It's like everybody puts everything on Facebook like you're just this picturesque thing, but nobody really talks about emotions or things like that. Like when I bring up things in my past, when I try to talk to my parents about it, like I said, my father, he's like, why didn't you say something? Dad, I was like 8-10 years old. I mean, what, seriously? Like, I mean, at the time it was happening, Dad, I literally felt like I was freaking screaming. I couldn't freaking breathe. Like, okay, you know? And so it was like handled like that. And when I've talked to my mom about different things, you know, she's like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. And I didn't say that. Yeah, you did. You did say that, you know? And so it's one of those things. I'm just met with those things. And so I have learned to just accept that in different ways of this world, people are just not at a place to take accountability. And that's fine. They're just not at that place. But you can't allow that to put you at a halt for you not to move forward. You know, you just give them space to feel what they want, think what they want, but you're still entitled to feel what you feel. And you can't let the two like co-mingle, because you're your own person, you're your own thoughts, you're your own feelings, and you have your own experiences, whether that's your childhood, your young adult, all this stuff, parent, business, whatever. And so it's like, my needs are too much. If I speak, I'll be punished or ignored. To be loved, I must please, hide, and disappear. I mean, these are all things that I was taught in different ways as a child. And again, my parents were taught this way from their parents, okay? And this is where the generational curses come in, okay? And then you have a child that comes in and breaks it. And that's just the truth. And we have so many childhood traumas right now and generational curses within all families. And that's where we've landed every 10 years, every 20 years, it's getting worse and worse and worse. Adult patterns that emerge: attracting unavailable partners, overgiving to earn love, avoiding intimacy out of fear of rejection, emotional numbness, over responsibility. When I was in my every job that I was in, I gravitated to taking as many responsibilities as I could. And then I just would be doing so many people's jobs. I'd be wearing so many hats, and I just became so convoluted in the business that it was just like, I just didn't know which way I was going. I didn't know right or left, you know, and that's just truth. That's just truth. Learning to identify your needs without guilt. Rebuild self-worth through inner nurturing and not external approval. You have to nurture yourself. You cannot look for anything outside of you. Nothing outside of you is going to give you the validation that you need. I can assure you of it. Having no voice. Silence equals safety, and my truth causes problems. My truth causes a lot of problems. That's clear as day. Nobody expected me to start sharing my truth. That's for darn sure. It's safer to be agreeable than authentic. I mean, and this is how I was my entire life up until this last year. I was agreeable. I just went along with the flow. I allow everybody else around me to dictate my moves until I said no, not no more. People pleasing, self-censorship, feeling unheard, invisible, explosive anger when finally pushed too far. And I did. I had problems with my anger and things like that. Now I'm just very, very chill, very relaxed, very patient. I get feisty and spicy, but for the most part, I stay pretty monotone. And I don't even have to take any medications. They had me on so many medications. But I love you guys. Sweet dreams. It's going to be my